They say the forest keeps what it wants, and that some places on Earth were never meant to be found. For 22 years, the people of Forest Ridge have lived with a silence so loud it echoes, a silence that began on the morning of June 3rd, 1999, when a yellow school bus filled with 27 graduating seniors vanished without a trace. No tire marks, no crash, no screams, just nothing. The case was cold before the sun even set that day. And yet, every year on that date, without fail, fog rolls into the town, heavy, thick, choking the roads, and if you listen closely, some say you can still hear it. The sound of children laughing, a low engine rumbling, and sometimes a scream. But let me take you back to where it all began. Forest Ridge High School, class of '99. 27 kids with plans, problems, and promises. Their last day of school, a trip they'd planned for months, a private camping getaway in a remote part of the Oregon woods. No phones, no teachers, just them and the open world. Mr. Dalton, the old bus driver, had offered to take them, said he knew a shortcut, a back road that didn't show up on maps anymore. No one questioned it. Why would they? Dalton had been with the school for 26 years. Quiet, polite, always early, never a complaint. They left at 8:12 a.m. The bus was clean, humming like new. Students were shouting, laughing, throwing paper balls, playing music too loud. Emma had her camera rolling. Danny was already filming a documentary. Jared had brought fireworks. It was the kind of chaos only teenagers can create, that perfect, beautiful storm of youth. Nobody knew it was their last morning. Nobody knew the road they took hadn't been used in decades. Nobody knew the forest was waiting. By 11:46 a.m., they were no longer on any known route. Satellite tracking lost them. Even radio signals stopped. The final footage recovered from Emma's camcorder showed the bus slowing down, trees thickening outside the windows, and a strange white fog rolling in dense and unnatural, swallowing the sun. Dalton turned around and said just 5 words. "We're almost where we belong." Then, static. People say fog is just weather, but that day, it had a purpose. And when the fog lifted that night, the bus, the students, the driver, all of it was gone. Only tire tracks led into the forest. None came back out. Fog has a strange way of playing tricks on the mind. At first, it just clouds your vision. Then it clouds your thoughts. Then it whispers. Inside the bus, the mood began to shift the moment they entered the fog. It wasn't gradual, it was instant. Like someone had dropped a curtain of silence over everyone. Music stopped. Laughter faded. Even the hum of the engine sounded off. Danny looked around, confused. "Why is it so quiet?" he asked, half laughing. Jared pressed his face against the window. "Where the hell are we? This doesn't look like the trail map." Outside the windows, the trees weren't just tall, they were enormous. Ancient, twisted, black bark, thick vines, like something out of a different century. And the road, gone, nothing but dirt and dead leaves. That's when Mariah noticed something strange. "There's no sun," she whispered. And she was right. It wasn't cloudy. There was just no light source at all. It was as if they were inside something, a giant gray bubble with no top, no bottom, no time. Emma lifted her camcorder and began to film. That footage, what little survived, would later show something chilling. At exactly 12:03 p.m., Mr. Dalton stood up without a word, walked down the aisle of the moving bus, opened the front door, and stepped off into the fog while the vehicle was still in motion. The door slammed shut behind him. The bus rolled another 15 feet before it came to a dead stop. No brakes, no screech, just stopped. Everyone stood frown-seen. Jason was the first to react. "Is this a joke? Where did it go?" Danny tried the bus radio. Static. Jared honks the horn. No sound. Someone opened a window and called out into the fog. "Mister, "Dalton, you okay?" No reply. Just silence, so thick it pushed against their chests. Then, something darker. From the back of the bus, a girl named Chloe whispered, "Did anyone else hear that?" "Hear what?" Emma asked. A voice. It said, "My name." Everyone stared. And then, a loud bang on the side of the bus. A sharp, metallic smack. Then another. And another. 3 hits. Perfectly spaced. But no one was outside. Nothing visible in the fog. Not even footprints. Lena Saturday in her seat, sketching rapidly, her pencil flying over the page like she wasn't even thinking. Danny leaned over. "What are you drawing?" She turned it toward him. It was the inside of the bus, but everyone's heads were missing. By 12:15, panic had set in. 5 students tried opening the emergency back door, but it wouldn't budge. Another group started shouting into the fog. Jason and Jared decided to follow the direction Dalton had walked in. "We'll go 50 feet out and come right back," Jared promised. They vanished less than 20 feet away. Never came back. Inside the bus, the air got colder, breath visible, seats damp. Some claimed the windows were frosting from the inside even though it was June. At 12:42 p.m., Mariah screamed. Her phone, which had no signal, buzzed once. An image had appeared in her camera roll. A picture of all of them asleep in their seats, taken from outside the bus. No one remembered falling asleep. No one remembered that photo being taken. Then came the whispers. Voices with no mouths. Murmurs from the vents. Chloe said she heard her dead brother's voice calling her name. Lena said she heard someone crying under the seats. Danny tried restarting the bus. Nothing. Not even a click. He opened the hood and found something that didn't make sense. The engine had melted, as if it had Saturday there for decades. But the bus looked brand new that morning. Emma kept filming. She began interviewing everyone inside, asking them what they were hearing, what they were feeling. Most of the footage was shaky, but one clip stood out. It showed the front of the bus totally empty. Then, in the corner of the frame, a figure, standing in the fog, black, still, watching. No face, no movement, just there. By 2:30 p.m., 5 more students had disappeared. Not run away, not wandered off, just gone from their seats, backpack still next to them, shoes on the floor. Emma filmed an empty row where Chloe had been sitting, still warm, still indented on the cushion, but no sign of her. Then came the humming. Oh, mechanical, like the sound of an engine in idle, but the bus was off. Lena whispered, "It's the bus. I think it's alive." Danny scoffed, "Buses don't breathe." And then they heard it, a slow inhale. Long, deep, like something massive was waking up all around them. Emma dropped her camera. The tape ended with a single, final image, a reflection in the glass window. It showed Emma, and behind her, a wall of arms. Outside, the fog thickened. The trees grew closer. The bus began to sink slowly into the earth, like it was being swallowed. Only 7 students were left now, and the forest was just getting started. 7 students. That's all who remained. The bus was silent now except for the low, rhythmic humming, like it was breathing, or waiting. The fog outside had turned almost white, blinding. No matter how close you stood to the windows, you couldn't see your own hand. Danny paced up and down the aisle. "We can't just sit here waiting to die." Mariah was crying quietly in the front seat, whispering prayers she hadn't said since she was 7. Lena, still sketching. Her drawings had gone from eerie to violent, black ink tearing through paper, faces with hollow eyes, a bus with teeth. Then Emma spoke. "I think the bus isn't just stuck here. I think we are," she said slowly, her eyes locked on the camcorder in her hands. "What do you mean?" Danny asked. Emma held up the camcorder. "I've been filming since we entered the fog. But I just rewatched the footage, and the clock stuck. Like Francine. No, like it loops. She rewound and showed them the same 2 minutes, over and over. Lena turning her head, Danny asking, "Where the hell are we?" Mariah adjusting her head, and then it resets. Again and again, as if time itself was broken. At 3:06 p.m., the screaming began. It wasn't from inside. It was outside. A blood-curdling scream, long, sharp, and not quite human. It came from the forest, and it was followed by another, and another. Danny grabbed the emergency axe. Jason's pocket knife was still in the aisle where he dropped it before vanishing. Danny picked it up too. "I'm not dying in a school bus," he said. He pried open the emergency hatch on the roof. Cold air rushed in. Fog swirled above them, moving like liquid, thick and alive. He climbed up, looked around, and found they weren't in a forest. Not anymore. The trees were wrong. Oh, yes, but shaped like bones. The ground outside wasn't dirt. It was black and cracked like burnt skin. And worst of all, there were other buses. Old, rusted, twisted. At least 5 of them, all different school districts, all surrounded by fog, all empty. Except one. In the window of the farthest bus, Danny saw a girl. Pale, still, eyes hollow. She looked directly at him and mouthed, "You're next." Danny fell back into the bus, trembling. "It's a graveyard," he whispered. 4 buses. For us. At 3:27 p.m., the doors opened by themselves. Slow, silent. Fog rolled in, thicker than ever, and with it came the whispers. This time they were loud. Name, accusations, secrets. "You lied to your parents. You left her to die. You were never going to graduate. You wanted this." The students started breaking. One boy, Kevin, ran out screaming, gone in seconds. Mariah curled up under a seat, hands over her ears. Lena dropped her sketchbook. Emma picked it up. The last drawing Lena made was of the 7 of them all standing in the forest, smiling. But there was a shadow behind them, huge, with horns, and eyes made of fire. After 01 p.m., the bus moved. Not started, moved. It turned by itself. The gear stick shifted, the wheel spin, and it began to roll forward, slow and steady, deeper into the white fog. No one was driving. The students screamed, tried to open the doors. Nothing worked. The windows darkened. The fog turned black. Emma filmed everything, clutching her camcorder like a lifeline. And then they saw them. The missing students. Outside the bus. Standing. Motionless. Each one pale, eyes empty, mouth sewn shut with black thread. They didn't move. They just watched as the bus rolled by. Inside, the walls began to change. Names began appearing scratched into the metal. First names, then dates. All of them June 3rd, 1999. But below them, new names began to form. Kevin, Chloe, Jared, Jason. Then another, Emma. Her hand began to shake. "Ew," she whispered. "Ew, I'm not dead yet." But the letters carved themselves anyway. The final moment came suddenly. The bus stopped. Emma stood, still filming. The door opened once more. This time, someone stepped in. It wasn't Dalton. It was something else. Dull, wrapped in black, face hidden behind cracked glass, hands like roots. It walks to the middle of the aisle, buzzed, and pointed at Danny. "Ew." Danny stepped forward, numb. He turned to Emma. "Don't stop filming." He walked out into the fog. The door slammed shut. Only Emma and Lena remained now. Lena, staring into nothing. Emma, holding the camera like it was the only thing tethering her to reality. She whispered into the lens, "If anyone ever finds this, we didn't just get lost. We were taken, one by one. The bus is the gate, and the fog is alive." She leaned closer. "Don't trust the road. Don't trust the driver. And never, ever take the back route." In 2021, hikers found the camcorder. It was buried inside a rusted school bus, half sunken into a dried-up swamp in Rogue River, Siskiyou. No students, no bodies, but one final shot. A girl's face in the reflection of a bus window. She's smiling, but she's not blinking. Her eyes are completely black, and carved into the seat beside her, "Emma was here. So are you."